All right, I want to do a little talk. So let's talk. So I've had this kind of thinking about it. I put it up into my meditation, and I had somebody approach me about their perspective of what they're doing on their page and what they're supporting, and basically how I supported something else that wasn't congruent with their page or with what they were trying to support. And here I am, this individual that wants to support and serve all. I was called to serve. And it's that learning process that I'm going through, that you serve without judgment. Because we did a lot of that in the world. We judged everyone. That's how we had perceptions, and that's how we made or didn't want people to perceive us based on their judgment of us, right? So here we are today. We have all this social media, and we can be better people because we can discern what to say or what not to say, who to say it to and who not to say it to, how to serve people in order to help them grow and move to their next journey point, not judge their journey point, right? But it's okay. At that same point, at that same time, we can't judge each other. So I can't judge the person that sent me the DM. All I can say is my page, I support people that are moving into their growth and their journey, coming from times that were very difficult for them, moving into a version of themselves that helps them to grow and getting ready to move into something else. No matter what they choose and how they choose to do it. It's called growth. So my page will always support people that are growing in their journey, whether it agrees with me or not, whether it's part of my journey. It doesn't matter. It's a journey, and the soul will always journey back to source. It will always connect back with source, no matter what choices we make in life. Right? I saw a story from a friend of mine, and she was looking so sexy in her yoga outfit. And her story was, who are we to tell other people based on our perception of them what they can wear, how they should present themselves, or oh, you're 60 years old and you shouldn't wear this, or you shouldn't wear that, or you shouldn't be this way, based on your perception, right? I had this outfit. I wore this for Halloween, right? One day. And I thought, damn, I look sexy. So I put it on today because I feel I look sexy. I like the way it fits me. Now it's had its time because it's just been sitting in my closet till another Halloween. But I paid a lot for it, so why shouldn't I wear it, right? Let's just talk about that. We've got all these perceptions of other people in our head, and we feel we can verbalize them, whether it's by mouth, or whether we write it down, or whether we put it in a blog, or whether we say it on a podcast, right? We get to put other people down based on our perception of how we believe life should go, or how we believe that we are creating life for us, right? But source is moving through, in, and as everyone all at the same time. Source is making no distinction between the actual action that we are living. It's not saying good or bad. It's not saying right or wrong. We're the only ones that are doing that. Right? So when you decide to DM me about what you think I should support or shouldn't support in other people, be very careful, because see, I would never do that to you. You get to support who you get to support, and I will still support you. Plain and simple. I will support those that Source moves me to and through, allows me to become part of their life for whatever reason Source wants. And then if Source says time to move on, I will move on. But it won't be because of a judgment. It won't be because I get to judge somebody else's life and what they choose or what they don't choose, or how they dress or how they don't dress, or how they sound or they don't sound, or whether they have one leg or two legs, or whether they have one arm or two arms, or whether they're paralyzed, or whether they have a stutter. It does not matter to me. I support. It doesn't matter to me whether you're Republican or Democrat. If you're having a spiritual awakening and you're moving from one place to another and you want support, you want to come to my page and listen, you are so welcome. If you want to come on my podcast and talk, you are so welcome. I am not going to argue with you, your truth or your belief, because they are your truth and they are your beliefs, until a seed is planted and more truth is growing in its place, because that's called growth and expansion. So I'm going to wear the clothes that I want to wear. As long as I'm hurting no one, I'm going to say whatever Source is giving me to share. I'm going to allow you to have an opinion of what I say, because that's your opinion. That's your growth. And maybe within some of your information that you are sharing with me, I get to learn. I get to learn something that I didn't know before. Something that I say, let me go look that up, because that sounds pretty interesting to me. But I am not going to judge anybody by their long journey of how they've transformed some pain into into the control that they need for their life. I am not going to judge anybody's work ethic. I'm not going to judge anybody's career choices. I'm just not, because I'm not here to judge. I am here for the journey. Now, I do discern, yes. But I am not here to judge anyone else, nor do I expect anyone to judge me. But if they do, I'm going to say, what the fuck does your judgment or your perception have to do with me and my journey? Hi, Randy. You will have to listen to the very beginning of this when I save it. I will be saving it. It is just a little talk based on some a DM that I got, and about who I support on my page. I cannot judge. I used to do that. Why would I come out of make a journey of expansion and change and still judge other people for what they do and how they maneuver through their pain? I will not do that. And I will not be told who I can support and who I cannot. And if it does not support somebody in their page, then of course we're not a fit. And I will not feel bad if you stop following my page. I just won't. Because my page is for growth and expansion and love and peace and joy, and to allow other people to make their journey and make their choices, free will choices. I am called to serve. I'm just called to serve. Now, I'm called to discern. And there are some people that if they don't adhere to what I am talking about, if they don't like what I am talking about, I will not argue their truth with them at all. Nor do I expect my truth of how I know it at that particular time to be argued, because I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to make anybody villains. And I'm not here to make or allow anybody's perception of me to be villainized. That's your perception. Stick with it. Right? I'm in this outfit because I support a woman who went through quite a bit in her life, through some very traumatized stuff, and I'm not going to break it down to anyone. But her life choice to deal with her trauma is her life choice. If she chooses to expand and move on to something different, I will support that as well. It may not be the life choice that I would choose, but there are 8 billion of us in the world who are not choosing the same thing. There is more than enough infinite possibilities in the world for you to be whoever and whatever you are. Whoever and whatever your growth is. And I will not have anyone contact me telling me who I support is not who they support. If I support you for all the glory that you have. But you don't get to tell me who I can support and who I can uplift because of your perception of who you think I am. And it doesn't match up to who you think you are. So I ask you, what's the difference in religion that holds you back and judge and has a lot of judgment to calling yourself spiritual? Spiritually growing. When we can put other people down for their traumas that they went through, for their choices that they're making, for them obtaining something that gives them a little power and control over everything that they've went through. I don't get that. And then send me a lengthy DM about it. About the comments that I made in support. The gift of God that gave us all this glorious information, all these glorious transmutations and transmuting energy is not particular about who they serve. I have to sit down now. It took me a long time to bring this up because at first my egoic mind wanted to go to a place where I just wanted to say, what the fuck? We are all on a path. And sometimes that path really hurts because all of us are gone through and all of us are going through certain traumas that hit us hard. We don't even know that our triggers are so deep. Right? We just don't know that. And when you're called to serve and you're serving, right? I'm not saying that you don't get to make a choice of having your boundaries. Have the boundaries. But the boundaries shouldn't be because you're judging other people. The boundaries should be because of of how you pulled through the traumas and how you felt when you were being traumatized. And how long it took you to get from one trauma to feeling good and getting to a place where it makes sense for you. And that's what we should be, as we're serving, that's what we should be supporting. See, I can support everybody because I don't have to live their life. Why? Because I don't need to judge what they do or how they get their money. Because I did that while I was in the world. And you know what? In the world, as they were doing, and everybody's supporting everybody else in their blustering of talking about everybody, talking about who does this and who does that, and you have exotic dancers who go out. Some go out just because they got to make the money. And then some go out because they love to dance. Some go out because they do it and they do it well. Some people, some women go and they're Playboy bunnies because they fucking love their body. Not because somebody's forcing them to take those pictures. Sometimes they don't even need fucking saving. We think they do in the world. Why? Because we get to judge them. We get to say what's good and what's not. We listen to music and we say, oh, that's Christian music, that's good music. Oh, that's secular music, don't listen to that. Right? We put all these limitations on us. And then we say, oh, we're moving from the, I'm moving out that religion because it just keeps me in a tight box. It keeps me, it keeps me from really enjoying life. And we say we're moving into the spirituality, but we bring the judgment with us. We do. And I sat on this for quite some time and I meditated about it. And the thing is, I'm going to support who I want to support on my page. If it doesn't meet with anybody else's page or style or whatnot, if you don't agree with me on a person that I might interview or a comment that I might make on somebody else's page, encouraging them to be who they want to be at the time they want to be it, at the time of their growth, I thank you very much for liking my page and being part of my family. But you can't, tell me what you're doing with your page and how I need to be congruent to that. Because I can support a lot of people at the same time. Because I would not want anybody to judge me, nor do I want to judge anybody about what they do or what they don't do. And I will have to say, this person knows who they were. That for a minute, that lengthy DM hurt my feelings. But then, here it is. I put my feelings out there to be hurt because I assumed that you were there to help everyone, to service everyone as they move through their growth. Because where a person is right now in their growth, their growth expansion may not be where they end up. Right? It just may not. We get to tell everybody what we think sexy is, and then they need to fall in line with that. Right? Once upon a time in the 1950s, 1940s and 50s, everybody was told sex was one way. Right? One way. Missionary style. Now here we are in the 2023, and we're still telling other people that there's only one way to look at the world. And we get to figure that we get to tell everybody, this is my page, this is what I comply with, these are my boundaries. And if your page doesn't comply with those boundaries, then we're out of sorts, because I read between the lines. Hello, Professor Sunflower. Free will is that of no judgment. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. There are almost 8 billion people in the world who have free will, who have different designs and different concepts of what their life is. Some of those concepts are still pre-designed or they don't even know that it might not be truly how they see themselves, and they're trying to break free. That's what as we call this Great Awakening, and I put the air quotes. The Great Awakening is not just for us to awaken and be free, though that's good. But it's for us to awaken and hear the calling of our soul. And understand that through everything that we've been through, whether it's been traumatic or not, our soul has never, and I repeat, has never judged us. We judge ourselves, but you hear your soul say it's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. You may not have understood it vibrationally, but our souls have said, okay, it's a new day. I'm wearing this. This is about to, it's all, torn up. But I was wearing it because I had a friend who sent a story, and the story, in her story, she says, who gets to choose for you what is okay for you to wear or not to wear based on your age? So I put this on. So I'm doing two things. And Source decided that this was the moment that I get to talk about my DM from, that message, because it was, it resonated. It kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Even though I was reading it, it vibrated all over my body. That we're at a point in our spiritual growth that we can cover up judgment with boundaries, with the word boundaries. Hold on. Randy and Sunflower, if you want to come in and have a conversation, please do hit the request button. I would love to have a round table and just talk with people instead of talking at the phone and at the camera. But so it's the first time that ever happened to me. So we are here to light and lift others by sharing, not judging. Absolutely that. Absolutely. And what Source revealed to me is sometimes we talk about, having our boundaries and acceptable boundaries and not having people, okay, pull it together. I have to jump out for a mentor session, but we'll return for the next live. Okay, no problem. Have a great mentor session. Love you. And Professor Sunflower, I finally got 50 people on my YouTube, so I'll be able to go live on YouTube as well. I'm figuring that part out. But, so that's the first time that's ever happened. The first DM that I ever got of that manner. And first I thought I would just let it go, right? And then I have to say, I'm sorry. I'm not sure. Congrats, friend. Please let me know how you can help with the YouTube. Yeah, I just figure I start going on live, but I also wanted to do my I don't know how I'm gonna do about it. Yeah, we can talk about it, on in a DM or something. Don't apologize. I figured out what you said, PE. I figured that out. I am all shaky. It's all right. It is all right. I understand. It was just, I just had to, kind of, at first I was just going to let it go, and I can use my voice. Yay! You can use your voice. Yay. Well, I'm just on here because I had I don't know if I want to repeat it again. You might have to listen to the very beginning. I will save this live and you can listen to the beginning of it, because it related to two separate things. One that really made me smile because of my friend Michelle said, who gets to say, tell you how you can dress based on what they think your age is. And that's why I kind of wore this outfit. I'll stand up just so that you can see it. That's why I don't know. Let me push it back a little bit so that you can see it. I wore this for Halloween one day, based on, there was a movie that was done in 3 episodes, right? They did 3 movies, and the woman's name was Celine in the movie, and she was a vampire, right? And she wore a bustier. So I got myself a bustier. I got myself some blue contacts, and I went as Celine. And oh, you had the wrong day. Well, hit the join button, and you can come on live with me if you want. So I decided to put this one on and go, yeah, I like wearing, when I went out in this for Christmas, it was about being a vampire. But it was like, when I put it on, I looked and I went, wow, that looks really great. So hold on just a second. To wear this in support of my friend Michelle in her story about, where would you want to wear, Hi, gorgeous.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. And thank you very much, PE, for telling me this was beautiful. It was, I'm glad you're on, because I caught the very end of your podcast, and
Okay.
because I tried to get on the link from my phone, and it wouldn't let me do it,
Okay.
So, but I would have to say this one, if you look at the very beginning of this, because I'm going to save it. So if you look at the very beginning of it, you'll find out why I'm so passionate about what I just said. I never had a DM that was addressing someone else addressing what their what their boundaries are and their supports based um, me supporting someone else on a comment.
Mhm.
And at
Kind of like
first
imposing their beliefs on you.
well, that's what it felt like, because
Okay.
here you go, the egoic mind will try to read between the lines, but so I had to meditate about it. And so with the DM, I just said okay to it, because she's expressing her belief and her boundaries and whatnot, and we have always done great lives together.
Mhm.
And but
Something just came to my brain. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
No, go ahead. Because I know this. It's almost like what just came to my mind is people are imposing their limitations onto you, or the things that they feel they can address, but you are bold enough to be able to see past whatever maybe they're stuck at, where maybe they're limited. You're open enough to see past that, and sometimes that could be an intimidation to people because maybe they feel like they have arrived.
This is true. Definitely possible. I didn't go. Um, I support. This is me. I support people who are going through their growth journey, where they end up at the point that they end up, what careers they choose, or any of that. That's their business.
Right.
I can have a perception about it, but here I've always believed, if you have a perception about me, I always say, what's your perception about me got to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still going to be me until such time as it's time to change me, right? And if I expect that of myself, if I expect people to understand that about me, I expect that I have to understand that about other people. So
Right.
this woman that I was supporting, I can just say it. She's her career for right now is she is a girlfriend, like a Girl Friday. You can
Yeah.
call someone up and they can take you to the go out and take you to a date, or a function or whatnot, right? I support that, and in her doing that,
Mm-hmm.
helping men understand, become more aware of their emotions, and aware of or the fact that they're not emotional, or listening. Sometimes this is just about having a cup of coffee and listening to them talk, because that's all they want to do. So when I listened to her, it was never about sex. So I support her, and I support her growth, because she came from something traumatic,
Mm-hmm.
trauma that she had. She turned it in to being able to move through that and take control. And that's how she chose, and that's what she chose. And I support that, right?
It feels as if it feels as if she is still, yes, she moved through that trauma, but she is
Oh,
still kind of there.
no, we're not talking. See, we're not talking about her.
Okay.
We're not talking about her. She was on somebody else's podcast, and she was, she gave all of her information, and I'm in support of how she did it. This is another person
Oh,
that I saw your comments, and I don't support that. I don't
okay.
support commented about, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was like, well, I don't support a lot of people's comments on a lot of other things, but I'm only discerning what you and I have going on in support of what you and I support.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, this is how I feel. If you're supporting spirituality, and in the movement of spirituality, you could be having other things on your page that are not, that are you, indicative
Right.
of you. I'm supporting spirituality, and I could be having a lot of pictures with the bustier. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
That's
you.
one aspect of me.
Right.
That's an aspect of me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So for me, unless you're on your page talking about killing somebody, that's a boundary.
Right.
Yes, you're not going to be on my page. Do you know
Right.
what it is? I'm not going to support that, but I'm going to support people moving through their growth spurt, their growth and their expansion, going making choices about their life and what they want to choose about their life.
Right.
We as human beings, whether we call ourselves religious or whether we call ourselves spiritual, we still, if we're still judging other people, we're not as quote unquote religious or spiritual as we think we are.
Right. Because there's still some things that they need to work through, and sometimes they hide behind, spirituality for a minute was like a buzzword, so everybody wanted to be spiritual. And there's the saying going around, I think I heal too much because I don't like nobody. Well, you still at the beginning of your journey, if that's the case. It's like people are using it, but sometimes they don't really even know what that
Right.
means. It's just a buzzword
It's
sometimes.
just, yeah, because the thing is, you gotta you just where they're at. Just, that's it. It's kind of like don't get me wrong. You have to discern. You do.
Good.
Discernment. If you look discernment up and judge up in the dictionary, it's two different definitions. Discerning is you get to go, okay, I'm in this situation, I'm in this circumstance. What do I need to do now? Who do I need to be now? How do I need to move now? Why am I in this situation? What is this situation trying to teach me? Or maybe am I supposed to meet somebody in this situation that we're supposed to connect? The situation just isn't the situation to kick your fucking ass. The situation is there to teach
You.
and
Mm-hmm.
basically where I think what this has taught me, a moment and actually taking a moment and actually meditating about it and going, okay, what do I need to know about that message? There's more to it than that message. There's more to it than what she's saying. This is a message for what I'm learning. Our Yvette, you can come on if you want, if you're ready. Our paths may cross, but our voyage is our own.
And
Without definitely.
it's something in it for both of you guys. It's a lesson in it for her, and it's a lesson in it for you. And some people get the lessons and some don't.
Because at the beginning of this video, I just said I dim my light for no one.
Right.
I'm not dimming my page just because somebody else's boundary is crossed.
And first of all, that has nothing to do with you in your orbit, in your universe. That is you. That's her universe. She's trying to merge her universe into yours.
Yeah, but I think there's more there, and I think
Okay.
even there is going to have to be a actual verbal conversation than just written, because when people write things, there's words that aren't there that make more sense. But my thing is that I know this, that source wants me to say that the creation of my page is created for purpose, and that purpose is going to always expand, but it's not going to dim because somebody's comfort zone was crossed because I made a comment on totally somebody else's page, and this
Right.
happens, whatever her career happens to be, does not mesh with someone else's comfort zone.
Right.
See what I
Yeah, that's merging. That's too many merging. Like, oh, you made a comment on this woman because this is what she's doing. So I'm going to check you because I feel like you shouldn't be aligned with
Yeah.
that. Am I-
And is you shouldn't be aligned with that because you're already aligned with me. Well, I'm aligned with this. I'm aligned. This is my alignment. My alignment is being with source and serving where I need to serve.
Period.
Period. Right? And and if and this is for anyone who comes through my page, who comes through my comments, who comes through what I say and what I share and how source shares it with me, doesn't mean necessarily that the person that's coming through the comments is ready for it. Right? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yes.
so it means that it doesn't mean that I'm going to argue a point. I'm never going to argue a point, especially when people come through my page and they're still, they may be still knee deep in their Christian upbringing, and I've moved on. If I say something that triggers you there, that's your trigger, not mine, because I've gone through my growth. I've gone through what I consider my growth spurt. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still fucking learning about everything that Source wants me to learn, because Source is like the deepest part of the ocean that I haven't even
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Will I get there before this body and the mind separate and the soul moves on? Who fucking knows? Who really knows?
Exactly.
But I'm just here as a calling, like most everybody else is. They've got a calling for Instagram. They're on here for Instagram. It may not be spiritually, it may not be religiously, it may just be to have fun, it may just be to, get their music out there, it may be just to promote their books. There's so many avenues to the media, whether it's Instagram or whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or whatever. There's and there's a whole lot more those social media platforms than just the ones that I noticed, that I said.
Yeah.
And we're all for calling in a purpose, whether we believe Source called us or whether we believe it's God Almighty. We're here for that calling. But I know that I don't get to create my page and have someone else dictate it, because it doesn't resonate with them.
And a lot of people, and you're probably not the first person this person has done this to. And a lot of people in spirituality aren't strong enough yet. So sometimes they just kind of align with that other person because they may think they are higher than them. There's a lot of that, hierarchies. Like, we have so many followers and so many people look up to me, so I get to tell you how you're supposed to interact because you're on my team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I actually didn't see it like that.
Well, they see it like that. That's what I mean. They're seeing it like that they felt comfortable to try to check you and challenge you. Like, how dare you say that?
Yeah, it's kind of like I just kind of, I like how people are taking their traumas, and taking the demons out of them. Everybody has to do that. I mean, I've gone through, every time I get like a trigger, and I don't like that word really, but that's the word that they're using. Every time I have a trigger, it tells me that there's a shadow walk that I have to do. There's a image of me that's in my subconscious that's saying, I'm tired of being back here. Can you come get me? Can you rescue me? Can you show me hold on a second. Can you rescue me? right? And everyone is going through this. Some people are going through
Good morning.
Hello?
hi. Some people are going through this and they're going through it alone. Like when I was on listening to this podcast, a woman was being interviewed, and actually the guy was just asking all the right questions, being very observant of of uh, of of where she came from, because he had interviewed her a year before and it was back in podcast, and all the questions were really great questions, and she asked based on how she was moving through her trauma, and how she was healing her trauma. And everybody is not going to heal their trauma the same way, and everybody is not going to choose life paths um, um, as everybody else. Nobody is choosing their life path saying, well, I want to choose this life path so everybody will love me, so I'm going to be a gas station attendant, and that covers everybody, and they'll just like me and respect me. That's not how that works. And see, while I was listening to her, how she gathered her information, how she set up her webpage, how she made sure that she was safe as before we used to call them Girl Fridays, and she just calls them, she rents herself out as a girlfriend, for a day or for a night. And I have to say I like the fact that she just put it out there. I like the fact that she just said it's not about sex. It's about having men be able to speak their truth and not be judged for being emotional or being weak or being.
It's almost like a non-conventional therapist, kind of, sort of. Yeah.
Right? But here when we look at it, and I just was really surprised, and it shouldn't have surprised me, that we still in this, I'm going to do the air quotes here, the spiritual community, that we're still judging that bias, because we can say that a sex therapist can go and get a degree, and then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, there were just a lot of questions that they were answering for me that went, wow, this makes so much sense. That you would, we're not judging the guys for going out and being, what do you call that used to, oh shoot, when I was in the 70s, and
A gigolo.
are you?
Yes.
A gigolo.
Gigolo was the 60s, I believe. 60s and
Oh, I'm old.
huh?
Don't judge me. I'm old.
Well,
Don't tell your
no.
age, sis. Don't tell your age.
That hold on a second. We need to acknowledge everyone's journey. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Absolutely. We need to acknowledge and not judge. See, we need to. Our discernment is about ourselves, and yes, our comfort zones and our boundaries. Yes, but our discernment isn't about other people and what they're doing in their life, right? Unless it's hurting other people. Like I said, I wouldn't have anybody on my page that I knew was talking about hurting people or making fun about hurting people. Of course, they're not going to be part of my page, because they're not part of the love that Source has, that I wanna put out there. But I want people to be able to talk about their journey, regardless if it would not be something that I would do. Do you see what I mean? There's
Yes.
like me, I wear a bustier for Halloween. I might even wear it out on a date.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
But I don't expect anybody else to, like, say, oh, good girl, you know, because they might not. Because they might be a person that is humble in their body, that wants their body to be covered. Do you know what I mean? Is that a
Filter?
that's a, got it. I'm so excited. That's a great filter. I love that filter.
Oh, well, girl, I'm going to hold on to it then.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you
I don't even have on my cheater glasses. I can't see the filter. I don't have much of a voice, guys, so I'm just kind of listening right now.
Okay, well, jump in here, you know, please do. Yeah, you know, it's like sun, moon. Let's see. I feel once you start healing and doing the inner work, judgment slips away, and we start to understand. I think, but through this, it's open that yes, judgment does slip away, but we have to watch out where it slips to. Because if it slips into the incognito of what we call our comfort zones, or calling it, this is our boundary, and as long as I have this boundary, I can judge you based on, then it hasn't slipped away. It's just incognito, hidden under a boundary. See, our boundaries, we know what our boundaries are, what we will do and what we won't do, what we will allow and won't allow, and that's good. But it's not based on judgment of another person. That's based on discernment of ourselves and what we're going to allow, discernment of how we're addressing our triggers, right? And how we need to go inward. And for me, I will say that maybe that triggered her, the comment that I made about the podcast, to the person who was doing the podcast and also to the person that was the guest. Maybe that was a trigger. Do you know what I mean? And instead of it, a trigger that she wanted to go inward about and deal with herself, she dealt with it outward, and I was the person that received that.
It doesn't even sound like she dealt with it. It sounded like she projected it.
Yeah, but I will never know until I actually physically talk to her. But me talking to her I think the reason why I go on and make a conversation is Source is saying, take the anger out of it.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
You know, because that was part of my egoic mind that said, you know, what the fuck? Your page is your page and her page is her page. And what do they have to do except that you guys had great conversations about great things, but you're still individual. You're still individuals. You're still unique. But see, my mind wasn't doing it as a positive. It was doing it as a, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? It was
right.
like,
And it wasn't personal, you know, but it felt personal to you.
Yes. And I had to get rid of, right now I'm getting rid of the personal and understanding that everybody has, that's my trigger right now when I think about it, is somebody telling me what they believe I need to do based on their perception.
I believe,
right?
personally, I believe when it became personal to you is when it was specifically brought directly to you in a personal DM. That's when it becomes personal. If it would have been brought up in the pod or whatever, I'm not sure what happened. It sounds to me like it should have been brought up then if there was an issue, especially if you have had a relationship with this person. To me, it just sounds like it's shady. So maybe it's a blessing, sister, that this was brought to your attention, and maybe this was your pull from it, that it was brought to light, that you had a totally different thought of the relationship, of what you're doing or putting out there, and it wasn't the same. And that's okay. That's okay. That's what makes this world so great is we can be who we were meant to be and be at the best that only we can do it. You know what I'm saying? How boring would this world be if it was so perfect? If it was so one way or another. You know what I mean?
Right.
We need all these bumps and obstacles so that we can grow and we can learn and we can heal from within. It's all part of this journey.
Right.
It's not for us to judge. It's not for nobody's journey is better than anybody else's. I
Right.
don't care how rough it is. I don't care. I don't care if you got a silver spoon dripping from your lip. Their journey is theirs, and
Right.
mine is mine.
Right.
And we can all grow when we come together with love, not with judgment.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Look,
I don't know.
telling me how I've been supporting you and blah blah blah. Are supporting me with those were the words that I needed. Those both of you, that's what I needed. It's like, all right, I get it. Just get
Yeah,
just get just get past it and keep doing what I'm doing, because my whole thing is that service to those who are moving through their, not through it, yeah, through their path, when they need somebody to just listen to them. I want to be there. It's
absolutely.
you know,
And
it's not about, go
go
ahead.
ahead. And when you're on a journey with people that are healing and transitioning to different places, there's going to be some friction because it's going to be some misunderstandings because they see it from an unhealed standpoint, and so they're going to challenge you because they haven't arrived or they're not there yet. So it's going to be a lot of friction until they get to the other side, and it's going to happen more than once. Maybe this is just the first time, but when you're encountering these people that are still on that journey, it's going to happen. And so this is just strengthening your reserve for where you're headed.
You know what?
I agree.
At the
I agree.
at the beginning of this, when I was standing up doing it, I was fighting back the hurt,
I could feel it. I
right?
could feel
You
it.
know, and I but now I get it. It's okay to be hurt, because started my discernment of this whole,
Absolutely.
right? And
Absolutely.
it's, wow, it's definitely that, like, actually, Lucy said, she said, no, what did she say? No letting it slip away completely, and hold no judgment over anyone's journey. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I even though I wasn't the, it hasn't slipped away for her yet, and I was the projection.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Because she's still dealing with whatever she tried to put on you. She doesn't want to deal with it within herself. So she has to push it away to someone else. And you just so happened to be, it wasn't personal. She just had to push it off on somebody or something. And there you are. A
Yeah.
trigger for her. Boom.
Target.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
an easy target, my sister, and I'm so sorry because you don't deserve that. You really
Not
don't.
Oh,
But it's gonna happen. I'd love to say it's not gonna happen again, but
yeah, but
I'm sure it's gonna happen multiple times
yeah,
in our time here on this planet
yeah.
Earth.
happened while I was, actually, it's happened a lot. I as I move through and move and grow, of course, like a lot of my family, not a lot of them, just a few people in my family, kind of go, what do you mean? Why are you talking, bad about religion or bad about this? And it's like, no, I'm not talking bad about it. I'm talking about how it has, how I've grown from it, that it didn't do me. I didn't find it supporting me or making me or allowing me to be the wholeness of who I believe I can be, So I kind of, I got to expect that into a more spiritual journey. The people who are in that spiritual journey, I think I just expected, I don't know, better.
And that's where things get funny, when you expect better because you think people are up here and people are where they are, and I had to learn that because I used to do that too. I'm expecting this now. Wherever people are is where they are. And sometimes it's hard for me to accept, but I'm like, okay, my keyword is, okay, thank you. And especially being on YouTube. Oh, being on YouTube will touch you. People say things, and I've learned how to spin it around into a positive because at the end of the day, I'm on a big platform where they're healed people, unhealed people, and they're going to come at you with darts because they're triggered. And when you're on this platform, you are a light. And darkness sometimes don't want to see that. So it'd be like,
right.
Oh, you like me. I have like I had an eye surgery. Oh, you got cockeyed and all that. I knew that before I got on here. So I just say, thank you for noticing. And I keep it moving. And if I have to deal with that behind the scenes, but I've dealt with it already. So this is just, you're headed somewhere bigger. And this is some of the things that are going to come, especially on these big platforms, as a light. They got to tear you down.
Right.
So you're not right. So what you're saying is not right for them. So your head ain't right. Your eyelash is twisted. Your eye is this. Your earring ain't right. The background is dirty. It's always going to be something in order to project from the truth of what you're bringing to them.
Right. Lucy Jane says, a lesson that she needs to learn. I hope she can see the lesson when putting it on you. And then she says, beware of it, be aware of it. Not everyone has the same kind of heart as you or are here. Yeah. And I mean, I have, like I said, and I will tell people, I'm not, the end all be all of the knowledge of source. I'm just a drop in source's bucket who source wants to use for that platform. Chantel said,
Absolutely.
holding space for you, Sandra. You are one of the kindest people. Thank you so very much.
We love you, Sandra.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It's just to tell you, it's not that I want anybody to have negative energy for this person, because she's a wonderful person. I've spoken to her many times. She wants the best for the community of people who are trying, that went through a lot of things that she's gone through, and she wants to. And I connect that way. My mother used to call me her. I don't even know if I should say. She used to call me her UN baby, because I could address many situations with many different people, and
United Nations. Okay.
Yeah, her UN baby, right? and not feel compelled to be anyone's personal best friend. And I could stand there and listen to one person say one thing and another person say something else, and I could, as a kid, I could go, well, why don't you take what you just said the first part of the sentence and take the last part of the sentence, and then that makes sense. What you guys think about that? And my mother watched that. I think I did it with my cousins, and that's where my mom the and baby, you know. So for me, I just I want to make sure that people that I support them. I I might not necessarily with what you're saying or what you're doing, but I support them in their journey. And their journey is going to take them, sometimes their journey is going to take them down a road that they might not want to go. They think they might want to go there. And sometimes you just have to say, well, okay. Well, okay. Tell me, I got to move my phone.
I like that bustier, sis.
Yeah.
You can inspire me to wear me a bustier.
Yeah. So
I'm like, look, I'm trying to look up over the top.
up over. Well,
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
oh, hello, Dolly.
Yes.
but like I said, I got it for Halloween because there was a movie that was they did three sequels. They did two. I think they did three sequels to it. And the character in the movie, I can't remember the name of it right now. The character's name was Celine. She was a vampire, and she wore bustier all the time. So what I did was I got a blonde wig. Well, no, I think I did. I'd have to go back and look at the pictures. I think I had a blonde wig. No, it wasn't blonde. I think it was just a black straight wig. I had blue contacts, and I wore the whole getup, including the bustier.
Mm.
And I wore it to work. To work, and I had the fangs. You know, I had everything, and I won first prize. So it was like,
Yeah.
oh, you know.
Yes, sis. Get it.
I put it in my closet and planned to wear it whenever I would go out on date night or something, and I did. So now it's like if you see, it's all torn, you know, and everything.
Oh.
So, but it's
I wouldn't have noticed it if you wouldn't have pointed it out.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, girl,
Yeah.
you look
Yeah.
good.
it's kind of one of those things where I can't wear it out, and I don't think it's fixed, but I can get a new one.
Child, you can wear it when we go live on YouTube, honey. Ain't nobody gonna know. Push the girls up. Push the girls up, honey.
Push them up.
I got little girls too. I be pushing. I be trying to push. Okay.
Well, my thing, and this will be a good segue from her from the DM message and not give it any more energy. Thank you, Lucy. For me, the girls up. I have always I've never really liked my girls pushed up and pushed in. I never really liked having the look of a uni boob, right? So
A sausage roll.
yeah, but every bra that you find or that you find, they put all this fabric in it so that the boobs actually get pushed up. I like mine sitting. My girls. I like my girls having their own space and showing their own
Individuality.
Yeah, right.
Let them toddies breathe.
Right. And there's this certain part between my boobs. It's very. I don't know what this part here. I think that's so sexy to me. I don't know about anybody else. And it's certainly, I don't dress for men or women. I like the beginning of this video. It was, I have she calls her called DJ Michelle. And she also does, she's a yoga instructor. She's a DJ. She makes her own music for spiritual purposes and dance, dance club and stuff like that. And so she was saying in her story, she said, and she was looking so sexy. She said, "Who is anybody to tell you what you should and wear based on your age?" And that's when I went and got this. And originally, the live was just going to be about the bustier and being who you are authentically and wearing whatever you wear. Because who gets to judge that but you, right? You get to look at yourself and say, this fucking looks good on me. I'm going to wear this today. Or looks good on me. I'm going to wear this on date night with my husband. Or you get to go to the store and buy the most sexiest negligee for your husband or your wife, depending on for me, whether it's my boyfriend or girlfriend, I get to look sexy for them if I want to. But it's not based on their judgment about me and what I'm wearing. It's about me trying on the clothes and going, damn, Sandy, you look good, right? It's the same thing that we should be doing when we get up in the morning and we look at ourselves in the mirror and we go, hello, gorgeous. Or with the guy that looks in the mirror and going, you look really handsome today. I like the way this is going. Because that's the first thing that your mind and your body hear is what you say about yourself. So when she said that, it was like, go. And then as I was standing there after I finished saying that little part, that's what Source said, it's time. And I went, no. And, that's when we dealt with this particular part of it, that we were dealing with. Because I will tell you, thank you very much. That hurt. I was hurt that I thought that somebody that was friendly with me could actually say that, kind of thing. So I just thank everybody who's in the comment section that has helped me, in the point where, it's something that can be released and let go. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
And it's a learning curve and a better understanding of you and this person, you know, and all that glitters ain't gold.
It's not. And the fact that we are all going through, we will always be going through I hate to fix it, but we will always be diving deep in our trauma. We will. Think about it. From birth, we were downloaded with descriptive biases from other people about us. And we created our life from that unconsciously. And anybody coming through this room right now about what we're talking about, unconscious is just a terminology of how we use our unconscious, that unconscious part of our mind. It doesn't mean that you are purposefully trying to create a world for yourself. You're just doing it with things that are in your unconscious mind, as opposed to your conscious, your conscious mind on a daily, in your now moment. Your now moment is being driven by your unconscious, as opposed to your conscious. That's all. It's because the story of your unconscious is vibrating the most. It's on a never-ending loop, and that's why a lot of people say, "Well, why is life always fucking with me?" Well, it's not fucking with you. It's happening because of you, but you don't know it's because of you, because it's in unconscious record or recording that's just on a loop.
Yeah.
So when your triggers start to happen, your triggers are telling you this is because of, and then it's saying go deep. And most of us don't want to go deep because then it hurts at first. It really, really, really hurts, you know. And for me, I think that was a trigger. And it was because I had to go, because I grew up a middle child and I was always seeing myself through other people's eyes, through older sister, older brother, younger sister, younger brother. Not necessary. I saw myself through my mother's eyes, but my mother was always the one that said, you could do it, you know. But there wasn't enough of these people that was the cheerleader for me. So I didn't see any of that. I just saw that, oh, I wasn't good enough, or you know, or if I made a decision, oh, let's talk about it, you know, kind of like let's put her on the couch and figure out why she chose that, because it wasn't a choice that somebody else would have chose. That's how I grew up. But see, I didn't see it as a negative because I would still keep doing what I'm making, the choices that were making me happy at that moment, but getting judged for it. You know, that took me back to that, you know, hey, I've got to, okay, so now I've got to do or allow through my meditation, and definitely that's happening tonight as it's happening today, is that shadow walk young girl that was still there, hidden in that little dark place, saying, you know what, that triggered us. Can I come out and can I let go of it? And going, yep, you can. You know, not to say it won't happen again, but yeah, you can let go of it until it's gone.
But now you understand better when it does happen again, and maybe it'll hurt just a little bit less. Maybe it won't be a dagger, it'll be a little pin. It'll be like, oh, I still got a little bit left to kind of unpack. And, you know, that's been kind of almost the story of my life, you know, growing up adopted and abused. I was in a subconscious loop of I'm not enough, because that's all I heard, you know, because that's what my mother always heard. So everything I did, I got these 2 master's degrees, and I did that because I had to show them.
Right.
And I had to get out of that. Like, it ain't about them. It's about me. And how can I use what has happened to me to assist other people in their life journey? First, I have to release the I did this to show you thing. And it took me a long time to get out of that.
Right. Right.
And now it's kind of like I met you at a
bye-bye, Lucy Jane.
Bye, Lucy.
Okay.
I met you at a point where I was at a break, like a crushing of a building to be rebuilt when we met. And as you can see, you've been watching my level up. And so I can identify with when the little girl in you kind of comes out, because it happened a few weeks ago. I got overwhelmed and I wasn't taking self-care, and I started going back into old patterns. Like, I was pacing the floor. I was like, what's wrong? I caught myself though. What's wrong? What's going on? And you know what myself said? Excuse my language. You hate this fucking job. It's time to elevate and step up.
Right.
Let's get the fuck out of there. Give yourself a date. It was like, okay.
Right.
So this week I did a thing at this place for substitute teaching because Professor Sunflower, let's step into it. So substitute teaching, and I made my first $100 on YouTube. Let's get it.
Nice.
You're gonna see me on it more. And you know, I have my business with my parenting class that is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a free parenting webinar. So Professor Sunflower is opening up, and so I'm getting out this job, y'all. And so I don't know where that came from, but I said all that to say I remember being that little girl that everybody shamed and looked down on, and I looked up to people that essentially did not do well. I was looking up to my cousin like, oh my God, I want to be like her. I don't want to be like her now because, you know, she was the golden child and I was the one that was nothing. And now everybody's like, I didn't think my mother before she died said, I didn't think you would turn out to be so good. Backhanded compliment because you raised me, lady. You know, and so I get it. And sometimes these triggers come up just randomly in your life and you be like, what? Oh, wow. Where's that come from? I thought I was over that. And so I'm just grateful for you, Sandra, and I'm grateful that I met you in the time that I did and that you have been witnessing the unflowering of Professor Sunflower because, you know, she was in there the whole time fighting to get out.
Yeah, yeah, she was
Like,
just, there's so many layers to us that are, you know, and now once those yous, those versions of you release themselves and surrender, the more they do, the other versions of you just go, me next, right? Right? That thing. And really, I think Yvette has noticed that there have been a lot of, well, you know, at least 2 or 3 versions of shadow walking that you have witnessed Source allowing me to shed and surrender. And
Yes.
The whole thing is that, yes, Source is moving through in and as me. Source is using me as a vessel. Source is using me, you know, through the light language that I use and everything. But I'm still this human being that has had all these downloads from
Programs.
life.
Absolutely.
Program still in there. Now, my mother helped me while I was young, and all the way up until I was about 20, kind of circumvent those downloads. But I don't think she was doing it on purpose. She didn't say, Sandy, there's these ton of downloads that are coming in, and you know, I'm trying to block them. You know, I'm trying to be that soccer person that's, you know, running and blocking the ball from in front of you. But certainly, some of those downloads did get past her that, you know, told a story. And that, you know, through the latter part of high school and all of my adults, those downloads of how other people, of the stories, and who knows, paradigms, you know, paradigms are just stories upon stories that become a bigger force that you have to deal with. And definitely through the motion of me accepting the gift of my purpose. Now all these, you know, when the triggers happen, I get to have a, you know, not just a family here where I am, but actually a spiritual family who can say, well, I've been through what you've been through. It may not be exact. Why don't you try this? Or Source gets to say, well, okay, we're going to do this today. It's not going to be only for you, but it's also going to be for the people that come through in the comments or actually, like all of us here talking, because it's not just about service to me, it's about service to you.
Absolutely.
While you're servicing me, there's something that's coming up that, oh, I'm healing too. You know,
right.
so, you know, so I have to say thank you, you know, and especially your YouTube, just watching how effervescent you are, Miss Professor Sunflower. You know, I mean,
I'm going to have to check you out.
you watch.
Thank you.
She is, I mean, I love when she's like, you know, walking outside. You know, I love how you put the YouTube together, because, you know, how you piece together. You're doing that yourself. You know, you're going into the back, because you talk about it sometimes, going, and I've got to go in the back end now. You know, that kind of. And for me, the back end of everything still scares me a little bit. I mean, I'm doing it, but it still, it still scares me, you
It's
know.
rough. It's rough. The back end is rough, and I am doing it because my ministry is what I found out last week or 2 weeks ago. My ministry is I'm doing these parenting classes because I'm essentially reparenting myself, right?
Right.
And I didn't know that until like, oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you paused a little bit.
Yeah, hold
Move
on.
your-
Ooh, hold on. Let me plug it in. But yeah, so I go into the back end because there are things and places that need to be touched. And when I say the back end, I'm talking about the back end of YouTube, but I'm also talking about the back end of what's going on. You know,
Oh,
so the back end is synonymous with me checking in with myself and showing up regardless. Showing up because my goal is to let people know that all you need to do is show up.
truth.
And I was scared to show up. And you know how many people want to show up but are scared to show up for
Right.
fear of people's uh, thoughts and feelings or all of that. And so I'm showing up. And I'm excited because I've been doing lives, I've been doing videos, I've been really just finding my bravery. Like my mentor would say, go bravely. And my tagline is bloom, because I'm a sunflower.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I want people to know that you can come from a hard place. And if I really told my full story, people will probably be crying and wondering how I got my right mind. But the God in me
Right.
knew. And so I'm grateful that I even have a platform in there. Like the other day, somebody came on and under one of my videos, they said they was talking to me and then they said, yeah, this is a ministry. And that moment, they don't understand that. They didn't understand that they really called me out because I knew it was a ministry, but now they can see it. Other people can see it, that this is a ministry
Right.
that I'm doing, a mission to open people's eyes, to help people to
Yeah.
shine bright,
It's about
you know?
why
Amen.
when I started this live, it was about I'm not dimming my shine for anyone. I'm not dimming or changing my platform or my page for anyone else who believes that it's uncomfortable, because I support somebody that they don't support, or I support um, 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 uh, everybody trying to find where they fit in, or trying to get out from where somebody pushed them into, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's the only time change is going to happen is because it's growth, because it's expansion, because Source has said time to grow again, and Source is going to let you know when it's time to grow again. It's going to be like somebody taking their hands and pushing you off the dock of the pier, and you going deep into
Absolutely.
the Source will say, now it's time, right? And I did not know that this moment, this like I said, this live was time to deal with something else that was my trigger. Yeah, we can talk about the stuff that was said and done about their trigger, right? But this was something about my trigger and me being hurt by what was said. And I didn't even know it was hurt until we actually started talking about other things. And we can come back around that and go, yeah, I was hurt by it. My ego covered it up as just being pissed about it. But no, I was hurt by it because I thought I knew. No, I assumed I knew somebody.
Mm.
You see what I mean? So here are those deep dives that we're all going to go through, whether it's on what is
This is sugar.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Oh my
there's
gosh. Is Sugar, is that a hairless cat?
She is absolutely a hairless. Yes, she
I
is.
knew it. I'm like, wait a minute. Do I need to clean my glasses?
oh she's
She's
and usually Sunflower, she's sitting out on her patio, and she'll just sit out there and just pose and everything. She's a poser.
Gosh, I
yes.
love it.
I got the cat version of me. How did that happen? I don't know. But when I tell you
I don't know.
she's rambunctious, I say, what did I do? How did I? She's me and a
Perfect
cat.
Mm.
match.
Oh,
I be like, oh my God.
oh, hi Fifi. I love what you said. She says he said, don't even feel scared, and you responded to him. Good, good, good. Yeah, you know. But yeah, so it's actually, to tell you the truth, that's being hurt and scared to say what I needed to say back. And Source just said, don't say anything back, just say okay. Because actually I had talked to somebody else who actually confirmed that what I typed back was perfect, right? And uh it was, it's like I just love my soul family. I just really do, you know. And I have to say to you guys, perfect timing. And there used to be a time where Yvette wouldn't do lives.
No, I don't. Expect, look at me. I've been sick for 3 days. Oh, I'm fighting a virus for the last 3 days, but getting much better.
Mm-hmm.
And don't do the lives too often, but am coming out and
Mm-hmm.
starting to share more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely blessed our paths have crossed.
Yes, I'm blessed.
Gratitude.
I'm blessed that this is what Source told me, because I had when I first started doing law of attraction, and that was, I don't know, that was about 2006, 2008, and I would use it off and on. But when they tell you start with something small, start with a small cup of coffee, and I, start. But I got bold. I said back then, I could count my friends on my hands, my
Mm.
close friends who've been with me, 10 years or 15, 20 years, right? But not really meeting people that I would consider would be under the definition of my friends. So I said, well, I'm going to put it out there to the universe. I got to make some friends. So I'm going to put that out there, and I'm going, and it, it, it didn't really happen, right? Okay. So forward to just before when I started doing my Instagram, and now Source, kind of in one of my meditations, not something I was asking for, it kind of like felt like a little tap on my shoulder, and the Source said, "Have you counted your lately?" And I went, "Huh? Have you counted your friends lately?" And I went, "No." Ah, but you call them soul family, but I call them friends. And
Mm.
I mean, literally, this is like sometimes you have to be that fly on the wall of everything that's going on within, because source will talk to your soul and soul will talk back to your source, and then soul will drop you this in. And it's like a
Boom.
boom. Like you didn't say, the thing was, so say where your friends to be. Your friends are all around the world. You've opened that
Mm.
door, right? You see, the thing is, you asked me, and source discerned what I needed, right? Based on, because I left it really general. So all source could say was, okay, here's all the
Okay.
I'm vibrating. Let me vibrate these friends or these associates, and then she's gonna have to grow them. And I'm going, oh, so and on my vision board, I woke up one morning and I just kept having this vibrational, thing saying, look at your vision board, look at your vision board. And it's on my vision board, it said friends. And I went, oh, I haven't checked that off yet. I had to go find a marker and check it off because you know what I mean? So we love you.
Definitely.
Oh, it's we love you. You. Oh, it's. I think this is, everybody's coming through the thing, and I think they're saying it for each and every one of us that are coming through. So make sure you're looking at the feed as it moves through, so we can acknowledge when they're acknowledging us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Asef, and thank you, Fifi.
This is where I do bad, see? Is why I don't do the lives. I forget that there is other people out there. I forget. I get so involved with our interaction together that I don't focus on, and I apologize. So please forgive me.
Yeah,
I don't.
everybody has to start somewhere. I remember when I used to do lives, and it was only me on a live. There was nobody moving through it, So it's all about starting. There will be some times where Source will tell me to go in and do a live, and there won't be anybody on the live, and I'll just have this thought, well, why did you want me to do the live? And the Source will say, just save the live and move on. And then I see all these people that are putting hearts on them. Now, people can put hearts on them, but that doesn't mean that they're looking at them. That just means that they're looking at the picture of the video that's moving through, and they love you, so they're gonna put the heart on, and sometimes they might not even listen to the video until they need it, until they go through and they they're sitting back doing absolutely nothing, and they'll go, oh, let me listen to a little bit of this, and then 3 months later they'll respond to it or comment to it because they go, oh, I read this and it was I read it and it was right when I needed it. So sometimes if you doing your lives and you really have your sources connecting with you and utilizing you to send a message, sometimes there's a message that somebody might not get for a while, and I finally went, oh, I get it. Oh, I understand it. Oh, that makes sense.
Right. Right. Exactly. I know that one live that triggered me when it was me and you and Grace, I believe, or it was you and Grace talking, and I was in the comments. That took a lot for me to go deep and to let that child that I had been, holding and protecting and nurturing for the 57 years of my life, that was taken advantage of and abused and raped, and it was hard to go in there. I didn't want to. I didn't.
I remember that one.
That was a hard one.
Right? I think
Oh boy, that was a big one, Sandra. And since then, it's been like,
yeah,
it has been a weight lifted, and a welcoming, like, come play with me, Yvette. You don't have to hide no more. You don't have to be afraid. You don't need to be in that dark place anymore. And it's a pretty world, and it's a great world, and I want you to be a part of it with me. And I'm not going to keep you down there protected no more. And that was big. That was a big one.
That was a big one.
That was
a big
huge. Huge, huge, huge. And I'm so, so grateful for you for being there during that
I think
dive in, because it was a deep dive, girl.
It was a deep
it was deep.
I don't think the dive would have happened unless it was Grace coming on with her because the trigger was forgiveness, and she also didn't know that she didn't want to let go of, she didn't want to forgive yet because she didn't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
And that the why was holding back just the forgiveness that was part of her um, um, healing, not
Right.
necessarily actually forgiving the whole situation or even understanding the situation, but forgiveness is a very big part of surrender for yourself,
Absolutely.
right? Because,
It's hard to wrap yourself around that why when you are so young. You know, I feel like it's easier to deal with certain situations that we might come across in life when we are a little bit more able to absorb and deal with. You know what I mean? When you're a child and you're traumatized in such an ugly way, and I know that there's several people out there who have been, and our journey is our own. It's hard to wrap the why around it, because when you're so young and innocent, there is no why.
Yeah.
There really isn't. It's almost uh I can't even, I don't even know how to put it into words right now. Um I don't know. It's almost a necessity to go that deep and to bring that little dark buried innocent person back out. You
right.
know, as hard as it is and as much as it hurts and as many tears that go with it, because they're going to be a lot. Let me tell you, there's going to be a lot. When you dig deep, there's a lot.
Oof.
It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. You let them go and you let them flow, and you taste them, and you're grateful for them, and you thank these tears that come, because it means you have a heart,
Yeah.
and
It,
that's good.
and that's good because as children, you're not required to try to understand it, to make sense of it, to
Absolutely not.
just, you're you're just told, you just know that it happened. Nobody ever gives you an explanation. If they do give you an explanation, it's based on either it didn't happen the way you think it happened to you, or that whole thing. But
Mm,
when you come into that adulthood, that we are responsible to I'm gonna, source knows that I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
Um, that we as adults, it's hard to tell an adult who has had a traumatic childhood,
mm,
especially where there's rape or incest, or we don't even want to say those words.
right.
We most people don't want to say those words. Most people can't believe that shit happens. All right, and it's hard for us. It's hard. It's hard for us to tell people that source expects for us to go in and call those versions of ourselves forward and
Right.
bring it
Right.
forward so that we can hold their hand and say, I understand, when even you don't really
Mm,
understand, but you go, I the understanding is, if we don't release it somehow, you'll always hurt. If we don't release it somehow and surrender it somehow, we'll never be able to live a really happy and creative and joyful life.
Yes.
We'll never all the happiness that we were born with because we were born happy. We'll never understand all the awareness that resides within us and that is aware of all the unhealthy thoughts that you've had about yourself. Because as kids, all you do is go, why did that happen to me? Was it my fault?
mm.
Right?
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
that You carry it through your life, and how you go to a therapist and you go to a psychologist or whatnot, and they say, well, you can be helped here. Just take some medicine. That just take a couple of pills. That'll relax your mind, and you won't think about it. But that just buries it, right? And
Sedates it.
right, people that tell you, okay, well, we can shadow walk with you, but they don't tell you that the part of the shadow walking that has to be done is you.
Right. And they can't support you when it's just you. After they open the door, you got to keep going through it
Alone. And but that's the whole purpose, is
But
because
it's
you're not alone.
so important.
The
Yes.
thing is, they don't tell you that when you're doing the shadow walking, you're not doing it alone. You're doing it with source. They just open the door and they say, okay, now you got to walk through it, but they don't explain that, you know what? Source is going to be there with you. This energy that created you is going to be there with you. And all you got to do is be the light that reaches out to that little girl and says, come on, come forward. Because I'm going to tell you, even though that's not happened to me, there are some younger me's that are still there, that are deeply hidden. But the only time that I know that they need to be revealed is when somebody does say something that fucking triggers me. Because now it's not because somebody said it. It's not because somebody said something. It's not because they're being maybe their horrible self. Maybe they are, and maybe they aren't. Maybe they're just being them, and maybe it was time to feel that trigger that says, okay, Sandy, you got to do some deep dive, and you got to go in there. You got to get that girl, because she's calling to you. She's calling to you, and she wants you to come forward. Who knows how old she is? Maybe she's
alone.
years old, or maybe she's 25, or maybe she was 59, right? But the journey, even though it feels like you're alone, even though you feel like you don't have the even though you don't feel like you have all of awareness with you, you do. You
Exactly.
felt it that day. Both you and Grace felt it that day. That surrender, sometimes it hurts for a second. Sometimes it just, just for a second.
Just for a second.
And then
Agreed.
once it surfaces and moves through you and releases from you, there is pause that brings you to your now. That brings you to a moment that you ever missed in the now moment. And it fills up, and it just, it explodes. It's there's somebody in this life that's moving through this life. Me tushena tuku anda ki iku ne atoshana tuku ana ki ma me chi doku na ne hoka me atoshana ku una hushin ai joji kuna tona ana fukushina ha ma ku uta ina me ta te hoku tuku ota Makucha shi mahokai me te shi ne me no tokushi ne no na matokusha ne ta ye toko me tokusha na te Yeah. Yeah. Ish. Yeah. No. Ish. Shono toku ai. Mana. Ya tashi na oko na ha. Yashono tokushi na ho na ho toshi na toku a. Mahashi na ha ta i ma toku ana. Mahatoshi shi na toku na he na ka. Be shi shono toku a he. Be shi shono na ha na he na he na he toku. Wholeness, seki, hunde. Wholeness, seku, hunte, iki, ina, ha. You're wondering if you're still whole, you're whole. You will always be whole. You're wondering if you're safe, you're safe. You will always be safe. You are wondering if you're loved, and you're always loved. You will always be loved. You were born with love in you. You were born with love in you. Ishe na tukuna he ne he na hotaima kushishina. Wholeness is your birthright. I gave it to you. I cannot ever take it away from you. You may not always see it, but wholeness is your birthright. Rishi shino toku o time. Mea kona a. Te shona toku ona a teke na tai. Yo sana te ia na ha. Na ha kuchi no toku a. No te china to una e. Tuna a. Tuna aku. Monaka a. Te shina toku a. Te montoku na ha. Te shina toku a nai. Me uto ia. Me tuki e te chino. E to kutai. Ota ke te uto. Pota e ma. Me shusha no totu i. Me shusha no to i. Me shusha no toku ui to. Jena taki imba ha. Te shana. Te shi. Te uta uta e pa. Te shi. Te uta e shi. Me chutuku. Te atuchu. Ashe.
Shay. Shay.
Thank you. Thank you. Markushe. Oh, I think we were here for that.
Oh,
That was the calling. So, hi, Christian. I don't was still. I first did not tell me who that was for. So she said, I could feel it. I could feel it. Aisha, I am thankful and I am grateful for whoever has come through this. May have told you. I feel you. I feel you. Hello, Black Neo. I am thankful. I I am grateful for the that you need and that you feel that you know that you have had, that you know that you will have. Source is never far away from you. It's only the moment that you hear all the noises in your mind. Source just says, ask if you are aware, and Source is there. Yeshon, Teshishina, Kunaha, Umoda here, Shirso Tokwai. Tokwai Teshi, Ne, Nukunaha, Tete, Tishino Tokwai, Neototiana Tishina, He no she. Source loves you so much. Ashana Kiashi, Bear Two Jena here, Nehe, Atakia, Taia, Takunai, Bear Two Jena. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ashe. Oh, I feel Source resting in me. It feels good. It feels so good.
Mm. That was needed. Much
Much
needed.
needed.
That was very good. Thank you.
Much needed. Much needed.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, whoever it is, wholeness. Wholeness is never very far. Just call it. Call it up. It's already in you. Call it. It's listening. It's listening. You don't feel that you can give it a command. Give it a command. Give it a yes. You're wondering if you're and you're serving all you are. You're serving. You're serving. You're serving all. You're expanding. You're expanding. Yes, you're expanding. Expansion is like Yoshanda. Kunai. Expanding. Kunai. Toshai. Ipokai. Yeshanaji.
Be right back.
growth, growth and expansion, the wonders of the universe.
That felt good. Woo.
Yes, shonoto. It felt good. I really, Source says you don't have to say who you are. The Source knows you. Source knows you. If you say your release, say your release. If not, take it with you. Meditate on it. Shout it to the rooftops. Yeshi shinotoko niata e tonaha. Laugh, sing, dance, be joyous. Yeshi te una e tonate.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Ladder is calling. It may be TMI, but it's calling.
I thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna step away. My husband just came in and I'm gonna go out there. He made us some soup.
God.
So I'm
Yes.
gonna go eat a bowl of soup.
Okay.
But I thank you
Okay.
from the bottom of my
you.
heart.
You are welcome.
Thank you. What a pleasure. I love you, sweet sister. Your glow is back. Just keep being you, love. You keep being you. You're doing everything you need to be doing at this moment.
Thank you.
And
Thank
just keep being you. Shine
Ashe.
your light bright.
Thank you. Thank you guys for Chisondotoku Akute Otoku Nechi. Thank you. And I like
Thank you.
who is in my feed today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to service you. Thank you for allowing Source to speak through me to you. Thank you for allowing me to see what I needed to see in order for me to serve. Be well.
Ashe. Love you, ladies.
Love
Love
Bye.
you.